We are live. What's going on? Epic, amazing park hopping in the house. Stacy Rogers was first on the other two. Sorry about that. We're just trying to see how dedicated you people are to find the stream. If you have found your way to the stream, you are amongst the smartest of the smart, because I would never have found it. Phew, we do have mods, right? Hello, Tim Pruitt. What's going on? Excuse me, Epic and amazing park hopping. Thank you all for being here. Bill, how are you?
I'm doing good. Just a little last minute running around to get things straight here. We had our signals crossed and had separate streams set up, but we'll get it ironed out.
We will. So I think we are in a point where I can honestly say we're having baseball this year.
Yeah, it's looking that way.
Tim Pro, woohoo! Not only are there mods, but the bestest ever mod is on here, Stacy Rogers. Did I make it to see the first pitch? Jay Skywalker, who still has a better last name than me, is in the house. I've been on 3 of them now. Hi, Bill. Hi, Jeff. Hello, everybody. Guys, I got to be honest with you. I thought it'd be me and Bill tonight. I really did. I even told my wife, all right, I'm going live. I always tell my kids and my wife I'm going live so they don't sing right outside my door. And they said, hey, you have a good stream. I'm like, yeah, it might be just me and Bill. And you guys are proving me wrong. I love each and every one of you. So yeah, Bill, I think that I've been a pretty confident guy. Hey, Movie Mania, Nick, what's going on, my man? I've been pretty confident we would have a season, but now I don't think it's just me being a Pollyanna. I believe that good's going to happen kind of guy. Hey, Lynn, I was on your stream a little bit. I want to talk about the Lynn stream real fast here. I'll do that in a second. But now I think we have evidence. I think there's rumors out there June. There's rumors out there July. I don't care. I actually came up with a plan that I might do a video for our channel, because me and you talked about putting some stuff on there. Tina McNeil, see, look at you guys. They're awesome. Look at these people in chat. I found you. I love you guys for trying so hard to come get it. Sorry about the stuff. We'll get that ironed out. But I think it's undeniable we're having baseball this year. I think I've got a pretty neat plan that they won't do that I would do if I was in charge. What do you think they're going to do, Bill? Do you think we're starting in June? Do you think we're starting in July? I think I've been more on the Disney's going to open, baseball's going to open. You've been on more on the I'm not so sure. Where are you at now? Have you changed? Or where are you at?
Well, baseball, I figured we were going to have a baseball season. Disney's a different circumstance, but the new thing is now that they just came out with is they're talking about 3 divisions now. Yeah. Instead of American and National League, they're talking about 3 divisions and 10 teams in each division, with 5 American League and 5 National League teams in each division. And they're talking the end of June to July 2nd at the latest, with hoping to get a 100-game season in.
I mean, that would be better than I was hoping for. That would be great.
Yeah, I just got this off of Nesson.com earlier this evening. And they're also talking with this plan should make the players a lot more happy, as they'll be able to stay at home. When they're home and not on the road, they'll be able to stay in their own houses. So that should make them a lot happier if this goes through.
Yeah. So a little housekeeping before we go any farther. My earlier stream, I watched the replay and was very modulated. So if you were in on it, I got some great feedback, but nobody told me I was modulated. Are we good? Can you guys see me clear? I think my internet's been solid. I make sure that are we good on my end? Hello, Jeff says he yells out. I'm going live. Right. Really? Well, but you're on the hard clear and all that in chat. Please let me know with a thumbs up if you are, because my chat. Okay, it's looking good. Yeah, it was weird earlier today. And also Lynn, our friend the Lynn Project's in chat. Her show goes an hour that precedes this show. And I had it on and I was chatting for a little bit, but then I stayed on, but I turned off the audio because I was doing other things, right? I was talking to you, and all of a sudden, all the super chats started flowing in. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what was going on, but it made me really, really happy because I love me some Lynn. So you guys who are helping out Lynn, I'm gonna have to. I'll message her later, see what was going on. But you guys, picture is good, but voice keeps cutting out. Interesting. Me or Bill or both, Jay? Interesting. I missed this almost. Did not know it was on the new channel. Detroit to Duro. Yeah, we're trying to see how many people we can scare away today. Well, now it looks pixelated, huh? So yeah,
now it looks good. It looks good now, though. A minute ago it was a little pixelated. Now you're fine. Yeah, I've been running into that constantly up here for the last 6 weeks. It's just crazy with the internet, the amount of people streaming. Well, hopefully we'll get back to normal. I didn't
put it on the low latency on the stream I made at the last second. I didn't put it on the low latency because I didn't have time. But I and I don't remember if I had it this morning, so that it might be on my end, but better now on voice. Looks fine. Okay, well, we're going to keep rolling. Please let me know in chat if it gets weird. Yeah, it gets better every time I say something. Well, keep saying something then, Tim. Good. And Bill's good too, obviously, I'm going to assume. Just let me know. I'm not sure if I can modify the latency during a live anyway. Make sure you're at 480. Yeah, that's on your end. You mean on my end? I don't know. Well, whatever. I'm just going to keep rolling with it. So I'm really excited about it. I'm going to tell you guys my idea about it, and then we're going to talk about the great Greg Maddux a little bit. One of the neatest stats that I was only vaguely aware of, and I read an article about a couple days ago. But I am a huge NCAA Final Four March Madness fan. Okay, they have 64 teams. They play 3 tournaments. You get 4 teams and you get 3 rounds, and it's beautiful, and I love it. I also love the College Baseball World Series. I love the College Baseball World Series. It is a baseball tournament the way baseball tournaments are supposed to be. And I love the World Baseball Classic. Now, part of the reason I love the World Baseball Classic is it's the best of the best. And it should be the world. It should be the Dominican Republic versus the USA versus Ireland versus Italy. I love that. I think that's really, really fun. And I think this year is going to be weird. Here's what I would do. And I want to hear your thoughts, Bill, and anybody in chat who has an opinion on this. I know they'll never do this. I know this is crazy, but this is what Jeff would do if Jeff was in charge. So 32 teams would be a perfect tournament, right? The Little League World Series. That's a great one too, Tim. They just canceled the Little League World Series this year, I think, for the first time ever. One of my daughters was born while my wife was laying in bed acting like she was busy with something. I got to watch the Little League World Series while Peyton got born. It was the year that New York kid who was 35 was pitching, pretending like he was 12 or whatever. But anyway, okay. So I think we should play the great Tommy Lasorda. I don't know if you Philly fans know who that is. He's the guy who beat up the Philly Fanatic. The great Tommy Lasorda once said, everybody wins 54 games. See how I'm not letting him respond to that? Everyone wins 54 games. Everyone loses 54 games. It's what you do in those other 54 games that matters. Here's what I would do. I would play a 54-game season within the 3 regions, the West, the Central, and East. You only play teams in the West, Central, and East. You play 54-game season, and then you seed everybody, and everybody makes it. The top 2 seeds, the top, and it would be rough with the 3. We'd have to figure out, but the top 2 seeds, we get seed 1 and seed 2, right? The top 2 records, and they get a bye. The other 30 of the 32 teams play a 4 out of 7 best of series. So for 2 weeks, we take it from 30 down to 16. Then we take 16 down to 8. And we take it 8 down to 4, 4 down to the World Series. I think it would be a blast. It would be spectacular for TV. It would be spectacular for ratings. Every team could win. You could also do it that way and only do 16 teams make the playoffs, where you could take the top 5 of each of the 3 divisions and 1 wild card. And then that would be a 16-team tournament, 4 out of 7, 4 out of 7, 4 out of 7. I think that would be the best thing ever, but I don't think they'll do that. What do you think, Bill? And no, I'm not talking about the Tommy Lasorda beating up on your Fanatic thing.
Yeah, I think you have your story twisted a little bit there, but that's for another day. Yeah, that would be awesome. I mean, for the 1 year, and I saw Tim Pruitt just ask the question, do we think that they're going to stay with this layout in the future? No, I think it's, they're just doing what they got to do for this year to get a season in. I think they'll go back next year, but that plan there, since things are going to be crazy anyway, that would make it interesting. But the only thing that might be hard for them is the scheduling part of it. I don't know. They got so many other things to worry about.
Easier. You got the 3 divisions, then everybody makes the playoffs, and the playoffs are all at neutral stadiums. Yeah. You play here in Texas. You play everywhere there's a dome. Everywhere that we have a dome that doesn't suck. I mean, I don't know if Tampa's a dome, maybe we don't go there. But all the good domes, you could have you could have cities bidding for it, just like the Super Bowl. They could do a little Olympics, little Super Bowl style thing. You could play the World Series, and you should play the World Series somewhere else. Somewhere else would be freaking awesome, because some city, I don't know, some great American city that does not have a ball field or a ball team but has a great ball field would be great. I love this idea a lot. I used to have friends in no, not high places. I used to have friends in medium places, and I just used to have some friends that would that I could maybe have gotten this story to the top. Maybe, but I don't anymore. So I don't know. I like the idea. I feel like I should write a blog or something, but I don't have a blog that anyone would read. But I love it. I love it. What do you think?
That would work. That would be idea. And as far as the neutral site, I mean, that would probably be a great idea because they're obviously about no fans. But the one thing that came out in this thing today was they were talking about no fans in the beginning. So I guess they're still holding hope up that later on in the year that they'll be able to introduce fans back into the stadium. So Absolutely. They're kind of leaving that possibility open.
So what people don't want to hear, but I'll say it doesn't matter. If there's no fans in the stadium, Major League Baseball is still a very profitable enterprise. Obviously, you want to build fan loyalty and that you need the home team for that. Obviously, there's a lot of revenues. Obviously, you screw the little guy if you don't have ball games going because the vendors, the security, all the things, all the restaurants and bars around the stadiums. Obviously, it hurts huge economically the cities and the localities and the people that lose out on having home games. But you can play it on TV and it'd still be a profitable thing. I mean, you don't have to have, what's the hot TV show right now? Everybody Loves Raymond's on. They don't need a studio audience. It would still be profitable, but it certainly wouldn't be profitable for the ancillary businesses around. So you don't want to do that. But I don't think they're going to do my idea. I don't think anybody knows about my idea, but Little League World Series was at Tim. College World Series, the NCAAs are brilliant. Now, the 16 thing might be better, but I like the 30, get them all in there and just have a season of 54 and seed them. Now, here's the other thing. You mentioned the divisions. So I looked at the divisions. I guess it was yesterday when we were prepping for this, whatever. Stacey says, personally, I think the Major League Baseball doesn't want to play a season until the Phillies change the Fanatic back to the way he used to. When Tommy Lasorda beat him down, Stacey, he really lost all power. It was like the Thor hammer. Danny just
he looks more like his mother now when they bring out every year for the Fanatic's birthday, which it was the Fanatic's birthday this past week. So we missed that celebration they have every year.
I didn't know that. I mean, I make fun of the Philly Fanatic only because you're a Phillies fan. I actually love Philly Fanatic is probably the second best mascot of all time, and I'm not picking on you. I really mean that. Hello, Danny. Welcome in, buddy. Glad to see you here.
Well, you really need to brush up on that now, especially finding out, your new DNA results that in fact you are a Phillies fan and not a Dodgers fan. So you should have to probably start schooling yourself on that.
I know what you're talking about. It to me. So I talked about the genetics of the nations, but I didn't get too much to the genetics of the states. But sounds like I'm an Alabama Southern guy, and so roll Tide. Apparently, I didn't know. I thought it was a USC guy.
I think I read that it said you have red, not blue. So that kind of makes sense, that you're a Phillies fan.
Yeah, Stacey Rogers in the house. Stacey Rogers is one of my favorite Cowboys fans ever. I don't know why she jokes about the Phillies in there, but Bill, he is also an Eagles fan. Bill, what? So anyway, but let's get back to the divisions. So you mentioned the divisions. So I went and looked at him, and I got to be honest with you. I was already madly in love with my wife. Like, my wife is my favorite freaking person of all time. But if I didn't already totally love my wife, I would have fell in love all over with her when she said this one thing. I read the list. I don't know. I don't even know why she knew about it. And she said, wait, the Dodgers are going to play the Astros? And I said, oh my gosh, you're right. So you know what happens every game? The first pitch of every game? I do. Yep. Yeah, baby. I've always my whole life I've wanted to be a Dodger so bad. Like, I know I'm a 50-year-old fat guy. Back when I was a 20-something-year-old not fat guy, I didn't have a chance then because I was a pitcher and I couldn't hit 90. But the thing is, in my dreams, I would never have wanted more. I don't know if I would rather hit the home run to win the Dodgers the World Series or strike out the last guy to win the Dodgers World Series or plunk Jose Altuve right in the freaking noggin every time he comes up for the Dodgers. I'm not sure which of those would be better.
Yeah, this year, instead of buzzers or whatever underneath their shirts, I think they're going to need a little extra padding this year if this plan goes through the way that they have it split up with 5 American and 5 national. And I'll tell you what, that will probably be one of the weaker divisions with the teams that they have in there. So, I think they're trying to throw your Dodgers a bone.
Any division the Dodgers are in is the weakest division because the Dodgers are going to crush them all into little pieces, especially the Houston Steelers.
I do like the idea, though, the Phillies, they're talking talking about the Reds and the Yankees in our division. So that would be interesting.
I really think there's a lot of ways you can do this and really have fun with it. I think it's just a really good chance to get a tiny bit serious. You know me, I'm not very serious ever, but to get a tiny bit serious, why not go crazy with it? Why not try everything? Oh, and by the way, you know how there's whole social distancing? You know, we're supposed to not. I think this is the perfect opportunity, and I'm only kidding a little bit. Mostly I'm telling the exact truth. This is the perfect opportunity to say, hey, umpires, get the heck off my field. We don't need you. You stink. You're bad at what you do. Oh, and you stink, and get off my field. Hey, Mick, what's going on? The only problem with this format is that it would be too entertaining. Mick, I love you. And that's not what baseball looks like based on the past. Let's keep the game of baseball the American pastime. So I think that that's a really, really interesting prescient. I'll even say point. Baseball has been afraid to change for a long time. And I guess I'm an old school guy. I hate the DH, but it's time for the DH. I hated interleague baseball, but what I hate about it is it's half-assed. They need to do it all the way. They need to
That's probably the only thing that I really liked of the changes that they've made, the interleague, and that's fueled some more rivalries. You know, like the Angels and Dodgers now, and the Mets and the Yankees, and
when they flip the Astros and the Brewers,
and the White
at all, right? The Astros and the Brewers flip.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. Tim says, "Tisk tisk." What did I do? I don't know. So I don't know. I want to ask you if you like the plan. I think you do, but what do you think they should do? Whether it's that plan or something else. I think there's 0%.
I agree with Mick. I mean, he's right. I'm an old school. I don't like change, especially when it comes to baseball. I hate the stuff that they're trying to introduce with the clock for the batters and stuff like that. I absolutely hate that. But this year it's not normal. So they're trying to do, you know, the best that they can, or they're going to try and do the best that they can to put the best product on the field to make it seem as normal as possible. But it's not going to be normal this year. I mean, hopefully next year we'll be back to normal. But this year they're going to do what they, you know, can try to do, get as many games in as possible. And with this here, trying to keep it more localized with the divisions and make the travel a little less. And with that, you know, maybe they'll be able to get, you know, a few more games in. I don't know. Usually by the MLB players' contract, they got to have so many days off in a month. They got to work that out yet, and we'll see what happens.
I think going back to your old school and change, did you and now do you like the wild card system?
I wasn't a fan of it, and I'll tell you, I was more a fan of it, not for the playoffs, but for the few years coming down to that last day or two. I mean, it kept you on the edge of your seats, because in the by baseball, most times by week, maybe the second week of September, you were just playing out the string of games, and it did make the end of the season more watchable at the end of the season, rather than just sitting back and waiting for the playoffs.
I think me and you have that in common. We're both old school baseball fans, but we've got to accept that baseball is a slower, more cerebral game. And if we want it to not die, we need to make it more interesting. And there's plenty of ways to do that. I think my proposal would be a way to do that, frankly. But the DH is a thing. I think we need to be more fun. I do think we need to have a clock, because people need Ritalin, frankly. But I hate it personally. I would, you take me to a game and you tell me I have to leave after 2.5 hours. I'm sad, but it is what it is. It's just the real world. I think we need to make it more TV friendly. And the best day in the history of baseball was that last 4 hours, 5 hours, that a couple seasons back, when all, a bunch of
one Sunday nuts. It was crazy. And I forget the teams that were. I noticed it was that one Sunday you're talking about, the last day of this
home run and all that. That was the best day in the history of Major League Baseball. And we need to have more.
And I do like what they did with that. All games on that last day start at the same time.
Yes.
So now
Brilliant.
you don't have any teams that are wondering, or might say we're just going to throw whoever out there because we're out of it now and it doesn't mean anything.
I would be okay.
And they really kept it interesting with that.
I think they should tier them. I think they should have the National League at one time and the American League at the other, so you can watch. It would double my enjoyment, but yes, I love that. Movie Mania says the thing is, where'd it go? The thing is, if they do play, I wonder how many players will play. I mean, you think players that have families want to play this year? Yeah, they do. So, Movie Mania Nick, everybody's good, man. Unless you're, I'm sorry, I know this makes people mad. If people have people in their life that have passed away and such, I've made a few people mad. I get it, but if you're a healthy young person, you're not. The stats are you're not at risk, man. I mean, this is getting fat, obese, unhealthy dudes, and it's thumping them, and it's getting them in the Northeast. I think
I don't know if Nick just came in. He might have just came into the stream, but the new proposal that they're talking about, Nick, versus the old one, the old proposal talking about players being sequestered in hotels for wherever, if it was Arizona or Florida. This new one they're talking about with East, Central, and West divisions, they're talking about the players staying at home, when they're not on the road with their families. So I'm sure that's going to fly a lot better than the old plan.
Yeah. I mean, part of having the 3-tiered division thing is so, like, if you have a 54-game season, which I think is likely, but people are talking about more, but I'm going to stick with 54. That's 27 home, 27 away, and they're all within your region. That's not too bad. That's, you do that right. You play a 9-game in the 54-game season, 27 home, 27 away. You can have a 9-game road trip over 2 weeks, and you only have to do that 3 times. So you're only away from your home for 3 2-week periods. Sorry, I know I'm a total numbers and I'm a total schedule nerd. I work for Boys and Girls Clubs. We do tournaments all the time. I love this stuff. So that's part of why I like the idea of it. I love the excitement of tournaments. Anyway, Mick says, so we have to shorten the baseball season and compete with the NBA, still hanging on. We don't have to. I think we either.
I know what I'll be watching. I know what I'll be watching.
So I used to be an NBA fan. That bores me to death. Since they've decided to let every player travel on every basket, I'm bored to death with the NBA. But obviously, the numbers show the NBA is growing and baseball is slowing. You may be right about some of that. I'm not a fan of the time clock. I don't understand the time clock. I do like the rule you've got to pitch. So, like, they've got a new rule this year where you got to pitch to 3 people. I'm down for that. I think that changes the values of some players. That little lefty that only pitched to one guy. The Tony La Russa-ing of baseball. I hated how Tony La Russa is the reason we have 14-hour games. Let's be real. And all the managers who've come past after.
I used to hate that. You bring, a pitcher in for 1 pitch and he gets the guy out and then here he comes again.
So the rule change this year, the rule change so you have to pitch to 3 changes that. That alone will shorten or fix the need. We don't need a clock. First of all, get the umpires off the field. Get the umpires off the field. That'll save some stuff right there. Can you tell how I feel about umpires? If you're not sure.
Yeah, but
I don't.
You gotta love. That's part of baseball. The good argument with the umpires once in a while. You gotta have that.
No, I hate it. I hate it. I think that all the evidence we have is umpires have only hurt the game. I don't see any positive thing about having dudes wearing blue sitting behind the catcher deciding if it's a strike or a ball when technology.
Now, if they retired Joe West, I wouldn't happy.
Joe West, he is, and he's not the worst. What's that little short guy? The Chicago Bear lineman Steve Michaels mentioned him and he kicked him out. Oh my gosh, I don't like. Can you tell I don't like umpires? I don't like umpires. One of my pastors at my church, we go to a very big church, and one of the big pastors is a great guy, and he was a high-level umpire. And we were in his office a couple months ago, and we were talking about how much I love baseball and how much he loves baseball. His whole office is full of baseball. And I said, yeah, but umpires. And he's like, no, watch it. I'm an umpire. I'm like, yeah, I know. Get off my field. Drives me crazy.
Spoken like a pitcher that never got his strikes that he should have got.
On both sides. Be right or be gone. Yeah, I don't. It's not that hard. We have the technology. The bang bang plays at first. They're not that hard. It's freaking instant. We can have the answer instantly. Why do we do the replay? If we want to if we want to speed up the game of baseball, get rid of the replay. Gotta have them in. I love you, Tim. No, we do not. There is no. I know, and I used to umpire. I hate it. There's no easy, Jeff. I used to be movie matey. Nick, you seem like a nice guy. If you umpired with me, I would love you if you got it right. I had a substitute teacher in high school who was a major league umpire. Very cool. There was a time in my life that I wanted to be an umpire. It was very, very young, and then I saw. I don't like power trips. and some of the umpires have power trips. And I'm sure there's a bunch of good umpires out there.
Joe West is the biggest one on the power trip.
There's one that's worse than him, and I'm going to look it up. I'm just going to type in. Worst. I bet he comes up. I'm picturing his face.
Him and the Phillies over the years. He's been a thorn in the Phillies side for years. Joe West.
He hated it.
I just wanted to bring it up while you're looking that up, Jeff. I just wanted to bring it up. My son wasn't able to be with us tonight with the new unit that he's in. He had to get caught up on all his vaccines because he can be deployed at any time. It's not like a normal deployment. So he had to get caught up on that, and he got him done yesterday, and he's not feeling too good tonight. So he had to bag it for tonight.
I hope he feels better. Angel Hernandez.
Oh, okay.
That guy and Joe West. You get those guys out of baseball, the baseball got better. Tim says, I enjoy college basketball tourneys, but pro basketball is not my thing, and I think Jeff is. I do, right? James Harden. So I grew up with the Showtime. The Magic Johnson, James Worry, Byron Scott, that time. And they never, ever traveled like that. LeBron James doesn't. Okay, so you can take 2 if you're going to the basket. 1 if you're not going to the basket, 2 if you take the basket. He doesn't take 3, he takes 4. And James Harden, he's like a running back in football. He just puts his head down, and I don't even know what game that is. But they're amazing.
Yeah, they stop dribbling at the 3-point circle and they're to the basket. I don't care how tall you are. That's impossible to take 2 steps and be to the basket from the 3-point circle.
It's so dumb. And not to stay on basketball too much, but are you watching at all the is it Last Dance? The Michael Jordan, the Bulls thing?
Nah. Dude, I was going to watch it, and I haven't saw any of it yet.
Everybody was buzzing about it, so I didn't watch number 1 and number 2, but I watched 3 and 4. I was right here. I was doing YouTube things, but I was watching it while I was editing or whatever I was doing, and I didn't get much work done because it was fascinating stuff. I've always been. I'm not going to call myself a Dennis Rodman fan because that would be a lie. I've been so intrigued by Dennis Rodman and obviously Michael Jordan, probably the greatest ever. Fascinating stuff. Dale Ford. No, I don't. Dale Ford. I knew Dan Ford. Dale Ford. I don't know. I can tell you a story about umpires when I went to umpire school in Florida. Movie Meeting, Nick, we need to have you on. We should have you on one show and talk about it. No legs are that long. Yeah, bless him is right. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate your son so much for doing that. I have the hiccups. I've had the hiccups on like 3 straight streams I've been on. I don't know what it is. God is telling me to get the heck off of the internet, Jeff. So anyway, do you know what the Greg Maddux is? Have you heard about this?
Yeah, I heard. And doing a little research on it, technically he had another one that he didn't get credit for. Yeah, that's I believe it's having a complete game shutout with under 100.
Think about that. Yeah, and so I'm going to pull it up because I don't want to lie to you because the article was amazing. So when I read this article a couple 2-3 days ago, I remember hearing about this as a stat, and it's an obscure stat, and I don't hate those obscure stats. I kind of love them. They're fun sometimes. Sometimes they're stupid. Like the run batted in, I think there's a lot of stats that are dumb, but like the win is probably overrated. But this one's spectacular. Let me get caught up in chat. Dennis Rodman, he was good, but I love 80s basketball. I did too. Detroit Disney duo. I was a Showtime guy. I grew up in San Diego when the San Diego Clippers were San Diego Clippers, but I was a Lakers fan. Magic was my favorite player by far. I cried the day he got his diagnosis. I loved those guys. I know a cure for hiccups, Jeff. I got a Pepsi. Is it something with yours a little stronger? Mick says, what? No umps. Let's just a pitch back behind the plate with a tape. Yeah, the art of catching is receiving. Nah, technology's got it. We want to speed up the game. Let's just get the calls right like that. No, I can't stand it.
I'm with Mick on this one.
So the whole world, I work with young people, and the whole world teaches us that we're supposed to be nice to the umpires. We're supposed to be nice to our fellow human, but not umpires. Get off my field. That's just, you're never going to get me off that. Tim Pruitt, wow, he was so good when he pitched for the Braves. I don't know what we're talking about. Sorry, I feel strongly. So I was going to tell you about the Greg Maddux because I don't know. Maybe I'm old. He was an 87 rookie in the set. The 87 Donruss card is one of my favorite cards. He's got this great mustache that cracks me up. He came up, little skinny guy. He made all of us who thought that we weren't big enough gave us hope. I was 5'11". What was I? Probably, I don't know, 165 to 185 in high school. So I wasn't a big guy at all. And to be a pitcher and be slight, it was hard. He was perfection. He could put the ball wherever he wanted. I was so proud when he ended. I'm a big Dodgers fan, if you haven't noticed. So proud when he ended his career with the Dodgers, just because he looks beautiful in Dodger blue, because he's so dang good. I'm just going to read. I'm not going to read the whole article because nobody likes to be read to, but this is fascinating stuff. So for this was yesterday. 30 years ago, Maddux got his first Maddux. On this day 30 years ago, so yesterday, Greg Maddux first pulled off the feat that would come to bear his name. Of course, nobody knew that at the time. And this is by Andrew Simon, right on MLB.com. Much later, some writer came up with the idea for the Maddux as a stat, as an homage to his favorite player. It was a simple but elegant creation. A Maddux, now this is the crazy part, is a shutout, meaning you pitch the complete game without giving up another run, a run to the other team, and you win the game and throw it in less than 100 pitches. What? You pitch on a complete game. The other team scores no runs in less than 100 pitches. Now, in case you're, my mom or something, hi mom, if you're here, the game is 9 innings. No matter what, you pitch 9 innings in a shutout. 100 pitches. They don't score any runs. That's 11 pitches an inning would be 99. You average 11 pitches an inning. Think about that.
Yeah, he was a master, that's for sure. Now, what was yesterday was the anniversary, but what year did they say it was? His first
30 years ago yesterday, he got his first one.
Okay. Now, the article that I read, they said he possibly had his first one on July of '87, pitching in Montreal. He pitched a 4-hit shutout, and he only faced 20 batters. But they don't have but his pitch count that night is unknown.
Oh, gotcha.
So they might have kept track of it that night. So he possibly had one and had 14 for his career instead of 13.
Tim wants to know how many times did he do that?
He did it 13 times. He's credited with 13 times in his career.
See, now it's hard because you can't have an all-time stat because we didn't keep track of all those stats. Here, I'll just read it. Maddux himself was and remains the career leader with 13. 6 more than anyone else. Now, it's not an all-time stat. Far from it. Consistent pitch data only goes back to 1988. There you go, Bill. So if he did in 87, it wouldn't count it, which means that we'll never know for sure how many, Walter Johnson, Warren Spahn, all those guys did. So it's not, you can't go back forever. But the insane asylum thought of it stands. Like, think about that. 99 pitches. Yeah. Or less in 9 innings ensures 11 pitches or less as an average. If you throw a perfect game, and you get a perfect game being you get every hitter out, you only face 27 people. That still means, and he didn't throw a perfect game every time. He never threw a perfect game ever. That still means what? That you got everybody out. Only 2 additional pitches needed, assuming 3 pitches. Obviously, you're going to get people, on the first pitch, and that was the thing. And Greg Maddux changed the game. He changed the game so much that umpires, and obviously I've made myself clear on umpires, why are they on this planet? But he would get that pitch outside so much. He would get the umpires so expectant that he would put it in the perfect spot that the next day Tom Glavine would get pitches 14 inches outside the strike zone. I submit to you that if we didn't have umpires, Maddux would still be an all-time great, but Glavine might not. But that's a whole nother thing that we can go down a rabbit hole. He was definitely the all-time master of painting the corner and extending the width of the plate. That's for sure. Now I don't know the article that you read. The article that I read, they called it in the pitch count era, whenever that started. But they say Roger Clemens had the first Maddux in the pitch count era. When was it? And April. I'm sorry. Yeah, April 24th of '88. It's amazing stuff, right, Mick? It is 3D. It's the box. It's pretty amazing stuff. I mean, Mick, I love you, but we just disagree on that. K-Zone, come on. Even if you disagree with K-Zone, the plays at first, the plays at second, the replay, it's insane. But hey, somebody's got to like umpires. I guess umpires get married too. I don't know. Well, I think as far as the umpires and the reviews and all like that, I mean, the straw that broke that camel's back was the one a few years back when the pitcher was going to pitch the perfect game for the Tigers, and the umpire blew the call at first base. And instantly the umpire was apologizing to him. Yep. How about was it the 85 World Series? The Royals got royally screwed. Is it Mr. Dinkinger, I believe? I mean, and look I get it. We put them in a position that they have to be perfect. Yeah, and we don't have to. It only causes more arguments because that's one-dimensional box. I mean, I don't care what you see on TV. Yes is yes, no is no. And that's the thing. And then Movie Mania just said it. It's really that if you're an umpire, you get noticed, you did a bad job. And I'm not saying they're supposed to be perfect. I'm saying we don't need them to be perfect. Get off the field. We can see. First of all, 99% of the time, the guy at first base knows the right answer better than the umpire does. It's crazy. The technology is there. It's insane. It's insane.
So we can make it like the old pickup basketball. Just call your own outs and fouls and all like that, right? First baseman said, no, ball got here first.
No, technology is there. Watching the game, whether you're talking about football or baseball, I'm watching the game, and I know better than the umpires what I just saw. True or false? Have umpires missed home run calls?
Not all the time.
Have umpires missed home run calls and been just wrong? Yes.
Yeah.
How many strike zone mistakes do you think an umpire makes in a regular game? 20? 30?
It still makes baseball what it is, though.
No.
I don't mind it if they're being bad for both teams. But when it's one-sided, I got a problem with that. But most of the times they're bad for both teams if they're having a bad night.
Do you hear what your argument is? I'm just going to let you listen to your own stuff there. If they're bad for both teams, it's okay.
I just don't like. Yeah, I like the fact of umpires in the game. I just hate to see that go away. But I do agree with your one point. The best umpire is one umpire that you don't even notice he's there. You know, that's a good umpire. Not like the Joe West of the world that are, he tries to put himself, out in front all the time, and that I don't like.
Angel Hernandez is worse too. It is what it is. I don't like.
And like what I was just talking about, the umpire that blew that call in the Detroit perfect game. You have to love that umpire because he came right out and said, I messed up. Some other umpires like Joe West, he'd still be denying to this day that he was wrong. That guy came right out and was bad about it. And then
Joe West hated Adrian Beltre. Do you need to know anything more about Joe West? I mean, I don't know. He might be a nice guy. I don't know that he goes home and kicks his dog. He might be a nice enough guy. I have no idea. But as an umpire, I don't know. I'm not a big fan. I'm not going to lie. I guess how do I even say this? If we want to speed up the game and there's delays that the technology can give us an answer to instantly, it seems to me the easiest fix.
Yeah, I don't know. Eventually, I have a feeling it's going to come to that, but I'm not looking forward to it. We'll see. I'm okay with the reviews and stuff like that, the limited reviews and certain things.
I hate the reviews.
What's that?
I hate the reviews. I hate them so much. Yeah. We don't allow the manager to go talk to the pitcher more than a couple times, but we allow them to let's just call time and I'll stare at each other for 8 minutes right now.
Why somebody in New York tells us if we were right or wrong.
Yeah. And everybody at home already knows the answer, and we all go to get a soda or go to the bathroom or go do jumping jacks or take our family to work. I mean, it's such a waste of time. I can't stand it. Tim says, fun umpire fact. Do you remember when Reggie Jackson got thrown out of a game and threw all the stuff in the dugout? I do. George Brett, the
Pine Tar game. Yeah, George Brett threw everything out on the field.
That was nuts. Yeah, that's one of my favorite umpire things. I think Bill and I look at it similarly, says Tim Pruitt. I mean, there's got to be more Phillies fans in the world. That's okay.
That's because Tim and I are the only one with a little bit of common sense left. That's why.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've heard that before too. Tim, and that's the thing. Like, if you know an umpire, Dale Ford. Is Dale Ford like a Hall of Fame umpire? I'm starting to feel like I know the name, but maybe it's just
I do remember the name. Now he wasn't the last umpire that wore the old chest protector, was it? The handheld chest protector.
Tim, I know. I was just being funny about the Phillies fan thing. I'm gonna pull it up. Dale Ford umpire. I'm gonna see what it says. Because the more I see the name, the more I think he's like a famous Hall of Fame guy or something. But let's see. Dale Ford is an American politician. Oh, there you go. Dale Ford, Robert Dale Ford, American politician and former umpire. He was a member of the Tennessee House of Representatives, representing the 6th District, blah, blah, blah. He was a member of the blah, blah, blah committee. Ford was an umpire in Major League Baseball from 74 to 99. That's super cool. Umpiring career, 74 to 99. He was the behind the plate for the Robin Ventura get beat down by Nolan Ryan game. That's so cool. Then he became, there you go. Umpire union leader and Philadelphia attorney Richie Phillips, I remember him, brought a lawsuit against New York Yankees manager Billy Martin when Martin stated that Ford was a stone liar. Someone will bet $100 doesn't know how to read. Okay. Political career. He ran as Republican primary, Tennessee. Some guy named David. This is interesting stuff. Fascinating. Very, very cool.
I like Nick's new comment there. He said he ejected Earl Weaver during the national anthem.
Well, that I like it. Because Earl Weaver was a good. I like that. That's cool. I mean, on a personal level, I have nothing against umpires. It's not their fault that they're dumb. I mean, you gotta, there's gotta be a place for everybody. How about known officials in any sport then? Because all sports suffer from technology proving correct and wrong. I still don't know a block from a charge in basketball, even with the replay. You don't? Well, I do. And they get it wrong all the time. Yes, Mick, I don't think you want that, but I do. Yes, get rid of all of them. Yes, absolutely. If I can, from my couch, see it better than they can from the umpire's position, that's crazy. Like, don't even get me going on NFL umpires and referees. First of all, they don't even know their own rules. Like, if a 9-year-old in his backyard knows what a catch is, but an NFL receiver doesn't know what a catch is, we're probably overruling the rules.
Yeah, I'd say one there I've never understood anyway.
Seriously, 12-year-old kids in America every day catch the ball in the backyard and decide if it's a catch or not, and nobody argues. But then we get to the big boys, the Des Bryant catch, the Calvin Johnson catch. There are obvious catches that everyone knows are a catch. The Des Bryant catch changed football history. People like Tony Romo, who would have went to the Super Bowl had that call been right, never got to go back. The Calvin Johnson catch I don't think it was a play. I think it was just a normal game. But that doesn't change anything. It was just fully, noticeably, empirically wrong. Yeah, blocking and holding. That's a good one, movie mating, Nick. There's holding on every play. See, there's another one. We got to change that rule. That's not the umpire's fault. The umpire behind the offensive line could call holding on pretty much every play, and he shouldn't. So they should change that rule. It's stupid. It's stupid. But the catch in the NFL is the worst one. The pitching, if you argued with me in baseball and just said, okay, have them on the bases, but get rid of the one behind the plate, I could. I mean, it still doesn't make any sense. The dude's not going to be as good as the tech, but whatever. I like tech, obviously. I'm a tech guy. But, it's the whole thing. I'm going to get way off on a limb here. Self-driving cars are already more safe than people driving them, but people don't want to know that. They don't want to admit that. They don't want to see it. It's the same thing with the umpire thing. We're just used to it, and it's going to take a generation of people who laugh at the old to bring in the new. In my never so humble opinion. What else you got on your mind? I feel like I've been yakking about stuff I want to talk about. What do you got over there?
I wasn't sure what we were going to have tonight since Bill wasn't able to be on, and I know he had a couple topics he wanted to talk about. But I came up with I read an article and I came up with a few trivia questions on Lou Gehrig.
Ooh, I love trivia. Are you asking me trivia?
Yep.
Ooh,
all right. I'll go with the first one here.
Ooh.
Wait. Can Lou Gehrig. Yep.
Okay.
Gehrig was the first player in the modern era since 1900 to achieve historic stat, and these are multiple choice.
Okay, good.
He was the first to have a 50 home run season, or he was the first to hit for the cycle, have a 10 RBI game, or a 4 homer game. 10
RBI game. Ding, ding, ding.
Nope.
Really? Oh, I was pretty confident.
Nope.
Wow.
Nope. Let's see if anybody in chat comes up with us. Gehrig was the first player in the modern era to either have a 4 homer game, hit for the cycle, 10 RBI game, 50 home run season.
If I went for a second one, I'd probably go with 4 home run game, but I don't. I mean, it would have been in that era. Is that the one?
correct answer. Four home run game. He hit it. He did it June 3rd of 1932 against the A's, and he's still the only player in Yankees history to have a four homer game.
4 home runs is insanely rare. Insanely rare.
Yeah.
I went to church for a short amount of time with a guy named Glenn Allen Hill who had a 4 home run game. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I didn't know him, but
all right. I got a couple more here for you. There was 10 of them in there, but I narrowed it down to 5.
That's okay. I'll take it. I'm 1 so far, so pressure's on for sure now.
Gehrig is one of only 2 players in MLB history with 450, at least 450 home runs and 150 triples. Who was the other?
Ooh, okay.
And
only one other player.
4 choices. There's 4 choices: Willie Mays, Jimmy Fox, Babe Ruth, or Stan Musial.
Wait a minute. I need you to go back a little bit. So he's the only player. Him and only one other player did what? They did. Give me the stats again, please.
450, at least had 450 homers in their career, and had at least 150 triples.
Wow. Okay. And my options are
Willie Mays, Jimmy Fox, Babe Ruth, or Stan Musial.
Ooh. So I'm pretty confident that it'll be Mays or Musial. I'll go with Mays because he could fly.
The correct answer is Stan Musial. Gehrig had 493 homers and 163 triples, and Musial had 475 homers and 177 triples in his career.
That's a hard one. That's good. Mick, I mean, I would not argue in Little League they should potentially have an umpire back there just to help out the catcher. But I think that could be a coach because, it's about teaching. But I'm talking, obviously, Mick, I'm talking about the highest level. I don't care if an umpire screws up a Little League game, nor should anyone. Tim says, growing up, we had a local Yankees farm team. One night, my dad took me and a rookie with the number 7, not Mantle, and I ain't that old. That's fun. All right, cool. I'm 0 for 2, huh? Did I miss both of them? All right, number 3.
Yep. All right, we'll go with number 3 here, see if you can get one. All right. Gehrig is one of 2 Yankee players to earn the Triple Crown. Who was the other season?
Who was the other?
Dan DiMaggio,
no.
Yogi Berra, Babe Ruth, or Mickey Mantle?
I guess it's got to be Ruth.
Nope. Mickey Mantle. Mantle hit hit for the Triple Crown in 1956. And this is the part I found really interesting about this. Mantle hit the Triple Crown in 56, and he was the MVP for the league that year. Gehrig in 1930 hit for the Triple Crown during the season, and he finished 5th in the MVP voting.
Wow. What year was that he came in?
How do you hit for the Triple Crown and finish 5th in MVP?
When Miguel Cabrera hit for the Triple Crown just recently, they almost didn't give it to him too.
Yeah.
That's nuts. Well, and
that was the crazy part about that.
Interesting. Man, I'm 0 for 3. All right, I'm going to need all 10 of these questions or I'm going to fail.
All right, we'll give you an easy one here.
I'm going to need one. I'm 0 for 3.
What was Lou Gehrig's real first name?
Oh, so one of my friends in my neighborhood was actually related to Lou Gehrig. His name was Dwayne. What was his name? That was not an easy one. Bobby. I have no freaking idea.
Let's see if anybody in chat can come up with it. What was Lou Gehrig's real first name? Lou was actually his middle name, Lewis.
I don't know. Anybody in chat?
It was Henry Louis Gehrig.
I mean, now that you say that, it vaguely rings a bell, but I never would have got that. All right, I'm 0 for 12. Keep going.
All right, our last one here. How many seasons did Lou Gehrig finish with more than 170 RBIs in a season? Now, 3 other players have in their careers besides Gehrig, but how many times did he finish with 170 RBIs or more?
Any options?
Okay, I'll give you 0, 1, 3, or 6.
6, because that was the outlier.
If anybody in chat, how many seasons did Gehrig finish with more than 170 RBIs? 0, 1, 3, or 6? All right, we have one winner there. Tina McNeil, she's right. Garrick had three. He had 3 seasons with 170 RBIs or more. And the funny part about this was it's only been done by 3 other players. So he has as many as the other 3 players combined.
Wow.
Hack Wilson, Hank Greenberg, and Jimmy Fox each did it one time.
Wow, that's insane. I mean, he did have the best lineup ever, right?
Yeah.
Your husband?
I mean, he was just a beast, though. He was just a beast, Lou Gehrig. And if he'd have got to really finish out his career, who knows where his numbers would have ended up at. I mean, they were all already Hall of Fame worthy. That
is amazing. Yeah. He's obviously the greatest first baseman ever, right? Is there even an option? I don't even think there's an option B there. Him and Babe together being 2 of the top 10 or 15 players ever on the same lineup is just, well, it helped baseball become a national pastime. Let's be real. Don't be Wally Pipp. Go to work, people. Somebody might take.
That was one of the questions, and I figured you would have got that one right away. So I didn't write that one down. Who did he replace?
You only gave me the hard ones. I like trivia. I love baseball trivia. I would do this. I don't know anybody would watch it, but I would do this every dang day. I love it. What a team they had, right, Tim? My goodness. Well, and then they had the greatest team in the late 20s, right? And then they had the greatest team in the 50s, right? And then they had one of the greatest team of the 70s. They've really been blessed with amazing rosters. I think but that 27 Yankees team is, I mean, unarguably the greatest baseball team ever. The Babe Ruth thing is pretty amazing, too. Still holds all-time World Series pitching records. That's how good that dude was.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It is amazing. People don't realize. When people argue who the greatest player of all time in baseball is, they just don't know baseball. It was Babe Ruth.
Can you imagine if they let him back then continue to do what Ohtani pitch and also hit? What he, the pitching records that he had, and I mean, who knows? It might have shortened his career a little bit. You never know, but he was an unbelievable pitcher.
Yeah, that is a good point. I mean, and I get it. It was a different era then. I mean, the all-time home run leader before Babe Ruth was under 100, and he ended up with 714. So just think about that. When you set an all-time record that before you broke it, you passed it 7 times. That's nuts.
You know, what was the one stat that I had heard with Babe Ruth when I forget where it was. It might have been 27, the year that he hit the 60 home runs. He had more home runs themselves than every team in Major League Baseball back then.
Yeah, a bunch of years. A bunch of years he did that. That's insane.
Yeah.
And what a different game
I forget the total number of teams that they had back then. I know it was less, but there's still one player hit more homers than every team in the league.
Yeah, it's fully unarguable. He was the greatest.
Now, a big thing, I'm sure it was the ball back then isn't what it is today, but a lot of those
it wasn't juiced like it. You're right, exactly.
Yeah, but a lot of those stadiums back then, I think Yellowstone was a little smaller than some of those stadiums that they had back then.
But Yankee Stadium has always been a graveyard. But here's the thing. It's the pitch.
Center field.
Me and you could pitch at our skill level right now back then, probably. I mean, there was the Walter Johnsons of the world. There was plenty of good people. But there was also people that were, bakers and butchers in the morning and pitchers in the afternoon. I mean, so it wasn't like the science that it is now. You didn't have a Greg Maddux painting the corner. You had a dude throwing the ball, hoping to throw a strike. And Babe Ruth would, do damage.
Yeah, I don't think I don't know. You've watched videos of games from back then, but you don't know with the ball if they got the movement like you say that they do now. The ball's a lot more tighter wound than it was. It's a lot more smoother than it used to be.
Doing anything. There was an argument back then the curveball actually curved. Do you know why? They couldn't make it curve very well. Yeah. I mean, the pitching now is elite. Pitching then was a dude who had a job 46, 50, 60 hours a week. Oh, and then he pitched at night. There was the Bob Fellers. There was the Walter Johnsons. There was the Christy Mathewsons. There was the Lefty Groves. There was great pitchers. I'm not saying there wasn't great pitchers. But really what you do to really understand the difference between baseball then and baseball now, the great players were great, but there was 12 of them in a whole, season. Now, there's the minor league players of today would be better than the players then. The great players stood out more because they were great. But, Bobby the Butcher was playing left field and pitching. I mean, it was just a different world.
And back then, I mean, you could have pitchers sometimes would pitch in complete games in both ends of a doubleheader.
That's right. Yeah, and tell me they were throwing 95 and painting the corner. No, they weren't. The Cy Youngs were amazing. The Christy Mathewsons were amazing. That's why the greatest players' stats will always outdo the current player stats because the outliers on the top and on the bottom were so much different. I mean, I'm only half joking. Like 50-year-old fat self, I bet. I mean, I don't know this. This might be a stretch, but the average Joe could play Major League Baseball back then. It's just.
And back then, there was no such thing as a closer and stuff like that. So pretty much, that was your game to win or lose.
Sunday. Yeah, Bill, you're pitching on Sunday. That's not. Hey, get me 4 innings. Bill, you're pitching on.
The one thing I've never really looked at, and you might know, or somebody in chat might know, all the teams now, the big thing, they all go with a 5-man rotation. How many pitchers did the teams back then did they go with? What was their rotation? Was it 3 pitchers?
Back when are you talking about?
Like, in the 20s and teens, in the early 1900s.
They would have 4 or 5. 4 starters was a very common thing for most of the first half of the century. And again, you might have Lefty Grove on the top. Yeah, you would have 3 sometimes, Nick. You can just look at how many starts they had. That's why wins have changed so much. Even in '68 when Denny McLain won 30, you're never going to have anybody win 30 because that was a 4-man rotation. He was pitching every 4th day. And Nick's right.
I think what is it now? Pitchers on average pitch 32 to 34 games a year if they stay healthy.
The season was basically the same. It was 154, and then it was 162. But it was basically the same. And you had look at all the innings were the same. They had 10 pitchers on a roster. They just pitched more. Starts. The 4 starters were 4. I mean, now the Los Angeles Dodgers in 2020 or 2019 would have like 30 dudes start in season. They would never do that back then. It would be 4 main guys and a couple others. So, 3 or 4. Yeah.
Yeah. The records that Cy Young has, they talk about the records that'll never be broken.
Cy Young.
His wins record. What do you have? 500 and over 500 wins in his career? Is that what it was? 511.
300 is unreachable now in the current game, and he had 500. The strikeout record for Nolan Ryan might be untouchable. The wins and losses for manager Connie Mack will never be touched. It's just a different planet now. It's like FDR has the most years as president. The rules have changed. The world has changed. No one's going to catch that because it's against the law. We went an hour. This was fun. So I appreciate everybody who came to our other channel, this channel, Bush League Baseball. I just really appreciate it. You guys made the effort to find it. And sorry about the confusion on the streams, but it means a lot that you came. Bill, I love this. I'm sorry we didn't have Bill Jr. I hope he feels better. I appreciate what he's doing for all of us. But I told my wife before we changed the stream on and we changed channels. It might just be me and Bill talking baseball, but I would have a blast anyway, and I did. So everybody in chat, thank you so much. Bill needs to be checked out. He needs to be checked out on his podcast, Magic of the Mouse Podcast. It's on Spotify and all places that you can listen to podcasts. It's about Disney. It's awesome. The production value's through the roof. The info's awesome. You're going to want to check it out. Magic of the Mouse TV is his YouTube channel. What else you want to tell him about? You got anything you want to promote?
Yeah, I'm still working on a video. This morning I didn't think I was, since I don't have any new video the Disney parks. I'm working on a new video now that it's kind of celebrating Walt Disney's Florida project turning 50. And I had the video itself about 90% laid out, and I went in this morning to start doing some voiceover work, and I couldn't get into my external hard drive. I thought I had lost everything. I went crazy this morning, and I was able to download a program and get just about everything off that drive. So once I get everything off that drive and get it taken, hopefully sometime next week, that video will be out.
I've had those days where you're trying to get stuff. That's scary. Stacy, the best. I love you, Stacy.
Believe it.
Yeah, that's stressful. Stacy, thank you.
One thing that I want to say here, Jeff, before we get off, I haven't seen him in here in a bit. My buddy Mick here from down in Georgia, I'm sure you got his blood pressure up tonight, so that did my heart good. You got Mick's blood pressure rolling tonight with the
Mick, I still love you. It's okay. I like wrong people all the time. You can tell. I'm friends with Bill. He's a Phillies fan. Mick, if you don't like people who tell other people they're wrong, you're going to hate me. But I like you anyway, and I'm glad you're here, buddy. And it's okay. Umpires need love too. I don't know why.
We were supposed to be getting ready for a golf trip. We were supposed to be getting ready for a trip down in Tennessee that's been postponed, obviously, but hopefully we'll get it in later in the summer.
I hear Tennessee's beautiful. I've not been.
Yes.
Someday. Anyway, all right. Last but not least, go Dodgers. I know that Stacy Rogers wants me to say go Cowboys and go Dodgers. I'm just going to stick with go Dodgers because it's a baseball thing. And Bill, my apologies that you have to stay a Phillies fan. I feel like you can break through.
Just one more thing I wanted to bring up before I forget. When me and B put a video out the other day on the Bush League channel, and he talked about it then. But Bill's going to start a series of, because Bill, my son played some college ball, and he was really good. I mean, he should have been drafted and wind up just leaving college after his second year. But he's going to do a whole series on instructional videos that'll be good for younger kids or people that are coaching and be able to give instruction to their kid. So he's going to try and do a bunch of like 5-minute, maybe to 7-minute top videos. So once he was going to start this week if he's not feeling good. So hopefully next week he's going to start. He's going to try and record like 3 or 4 at a time so we can put on average out, like say every Monday we'll put one out. So hopefully it'll be coming up in the next week or two.
Are you listening to chat? It went from so nice to so just. I feel like, and who do I talk to when my mods are the problem? Because I don't know what words, like, you know how you can put in words that are illegal, not illegal, but like they'll flag on purpose, like the bad words. I should go flag like Phillies and Eagles, and then Stacy would like, what's going on? I can't. I should have.
Yeah, I see. Tim Pruitt. He would get along with my buddy Mick, who was in chat earlier. Mick lives right outside of it. He's a school teacher down there, and he's a big Braves fan.
Mick, you seem like a nice guy, but friends won't let friends like umpires. I don't know. I'm going to buy you that.
And I see he's the one on you there. Don't worry, Stacy. You won't lose your monitors here. I got control of that. You're good. Jeff he can't give you the talk.
I wanted to come on. I think I know how to. I think I know how to hide those ability to use those words. I might do it. And Tina, you're right. I've had more than my fair share. My first one and my second one were both on the football field. My third one, my wife tried to murder me in the car. I'll tell you about that story another time. Maybe we'll have concussion talk on one of our shows coming up.
You can go in there. You can always put words that people can in chat. So I can see Jeff trying to sneak in there and please Eagles and stuff like that, so nobody could use those words.
Stacy might have a rude awakening coming up. I love it. So Bill, Mick wants to apologize to you for the whole umpire thing, but he'll do that off stream. I think that's it. Thank you guys so much. Anything else you want to say, Bill, to the people before we say goodnight?
No, just keep an eye out. Like I said, another week or two, Bill'll have those videos, instructional videos. He's got a nice batting cage in his area, and he's going to be putting them out.
Nice. I would figure out a way. Okay, Stacey's that challenge? Sounds like a challenge to me. All right, I love all of you, even you guys who are Phillies fans and umpires fans. I never knew there was an umpires fan, but that's okay. Love you anyway. Tomorrow night, giving away Disney Pin on Disney Pins Live, and then I got a Saturday thing, and I got a couple Sunday things. Ooh, Road Trip Dave is my guy on Sunday night, so definitely come back and give him some love. I just can't let it go about no plate. Fox plays at the plate. It would be wonderful. It would be like birds chirping, cheerleaders cheering, and umpires nowhere to be found. It would be.
I think tonight, Mick. I think Jeff had a little something in his Pepsi Light can there.
You know what? Here, let's see. You know what it tastes like? It tastes like truth. This message has been approved by you. All right, Mick. Love you anyway. Thanks. Have the best day ever. Be good to each other. And as it relates to what's going on in the world, fear's a liar. Everything's going to be good. Relax. We'll be fine. All right. Be good. See ya. Down with umpires.